How we doing, guys? Welcome in. Hello. Look at what we did. We fucking hit the button, and we're here. And we're hanging hog, and we're living. Livin. Living, chat. What up, guys? How we doing? Welcome. I know that you have a million other options, but god damn it, you choose WakeWilder at 8 p.m. And that makes the gods happy. They smile down on this. Let me tell you something, man. The Moonies of Korea have all agreed this is the best stream. And that is a paid-for statement in the wake of a very significant political assassination. All right. How's that feel, boys? How's that feel? Hello, yo. What are we doing, guys? How are we feeling? Are we feeling loose? Are we feeling good? Everyone have a good weekend? You're still there. I mean, it's still the weekend. Because, today is the day we labor. Today is the day we labor, guys. Anyways, hello, how are we? It's good to see you all. I hope everyone's feeling pretty solid. I hope everyone's feeling pretty sexy. How was the party? It was great. I talked to a bunch of people about content all night. Like I do every day. I'm ever at people talk about content, and I am, okay. Thank you. That is a thing. There is content, and we do have to make it, and you are right. You are right. Nursing a piss baby at the moment? Oh, man, you're full of piss. That's right. You deserve to be the next Tonight Show host. I don't deserve shit. Realistically, sometimes I break it down where I'm like, you guys watch me because you like me. You know, like, some people have, like, a thing that they're, like, super credible, like, they have a field that they're, like, well-established in, or they have some kind of expertise or some kind of past accomplishment. You guys just want to look at the hog and turn me to a piece of meat. There's no reason to watch me. You guys just choose to because you like me. And god damn it, does that make me feel whatever? Do you like anime? Yeah, I love anime, man. I actually haven't been watching a lot lately, though. How does one break addiction to overeating or stop eating, dude? What do you mean? You gotta go cold turkey with the eating. That's what you gotta do. You gotta break eating cold turkey. There's no other way. All right, look, it's one of those. That's essentially what NoFap is, by the way. Everyone's like, man, I can't stop fap. They're like, man, I can't stop eating, and they're like, well, or I can't stop eating bad food. And they're like, well, what if you just stop eating all food forever? How about that? What about no food? Hey, I got a bulging disc in my L5. Any ideas? Nope. My idea is doctor. Look, guys, if you have any, like, hey, man, I'd like some tips and tricks for integrating healthier habits into my day-to-day. What's a good strategy for getting started? What's a good philosophy for approaching a lifelong labor? I got you there, right? When it comes to actual medical issues, I am not a doctor. You must go to the doctor. Bulging disc? Yeah, man. Look, man. When I talk to Chad, I get a bulging disc too. Okay. I'll stop eating all food. Here's Speed Devils. This is what I'll tell you. Artificial sweeteners. Use them. They're as long as they're not radically disrupting your like digestion, just use them. They are a great tool. There's very little, if outright no, medically substantiated health risk to using them, especially in the quantities any of us use them in. You're absolutely fine. I asked for ideas. Relax. I know. I'm just telling you, when it comes to actually addressing a bulging disc in your spine, it would be unethical for me to give you ideas. I shouldn't, because what one thing may be could very much be, a cascade of other things causing your disc to bulge, and I don't want to address one variable without knowing all of the variables, and that's why you go to doctors. It's just not a good idea for me to, like, it's kind of like if you were, like, you know, like my fire alarm's going, or like, you know, my carbon monoxide alarm keeps beeping. And it's like, yeah, well, I mean, realistically, in almost every situation, it's probably running a battery. So, you know, change the battery, reset it, something like that. There's also the possibility that there's carbon monoxide in your home. You know, I'm not there. I don't know. Maybe he's just happy to see me. That's why that dick be bulging. I get all my medical advice from TikTok. Yeah, TLDR, you have autism and ADHD. That's the one thing I think TikTok did to all of us. Was like, I think you have ADHD, autism, the Asperger's. You have that. And you go to, but it's better than WebMD telling us that we have cancer. I'd rather all of my issues be related to me having ADHD than cancer. You know what I mean? It's better than not dying. You know what I mean? Let's see. Wake, the FBI are after me. What do I do? Shed your identity, move into a shack in the southern coasts of Australia somewhere, maybe near Perth. You go there, swim there. Wake, I have a bulge when I wake up. Based. Honestly, good. I got another serious question. How can I convince my family to accept my beard? They disown me until I... Should I disown my family and start a podcast? No, you have to have a man bun to do that. Look, you need long hair and beard and bad takes, and then you can have a podcast. And an extreme sense of entitlement. The kind of je ne sais quoi, that white dude, people must listen to me. That's what they got to do. Do your parents actually not want you to have a beard? It's fucking weird. I don't understand what culture you stem from, but that's super weird. I think you just have a beard and tell them to deal with it. Because it shouldn't concern them. You know what I mean? You also have to call mayo aioli. You gotta, yeah. Oh, it's always an aioli. You also need, you do cold brew now. You're a cold brew person, you know. No coffee. You do cold brew. It's distinct, and you do it. Bug bite. You talking about the thing on my fucking arm? Yeah, dude. I don't know. This like popped up overnight. It's weird. Looks like it's like I think it's a pimple that I was popping, and maybe I bruised it. I don't know. But that's there. I'm a cold brew fella. That's where you inject tren, into my bicep. God damn. Wake, why are so many people in fitness so weird about people wearing gloves or not wanting to get calluses on their hands? Because, go figure, all right? Something that's entirely predicated on the performance of masculinity has some toxic values orbiting it. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I'm going to be a big, strong, capable predator. You know what I mean? Of course, you have to have, like, look, man, anyone who's ever gotten calluses and then went on to masturbate knows that it is the worst thing you could have. Calluses are not fun. Hey, Wake, you should play Parasocial. Is that what Mizzy was playing earlier? I saw Miz playing that. It was fun. Yeah, party was cool, though. Hung out, chatted with the people. Sometimes it's like, here's the thing, guys. I'm too fresh as a streamer to be inundated with too many like doomer takes on streaming. And these old crotchety streamers are all little doomers at heart. You know what I mean? I had to protect my energy here, guys, all right? I was chopping wood today and I have little boy hands and now they are shredded. Wear gloves. I got to be careful with what with the thoughts I accept into my universe here. You seen the extras snot Emily clips today? No. I like triggering fitness streams by asking about it. Dudes were like, why wouldn't you want armor on your hands? It's awesome. It's like, well, you don't need it. There's a lot of really dumb... No Man's Sky later? Seriously? Okay, so I did this. I don't know to what extent this is going to work, but I built a cocoa melon, a little cocoa melon thing here. So we'll have we can run and react to videos and then play at the same time. So I've got this, and then I got a little cutaway. So we can throw videos on and play games. I'm calling it Nerdy Cocoa Melon. So we have a lot of visual stimulus and things to talk about while we play a dumb game. I figured we could give it a try because, what the fuck am I doing else, Why is that your background? Nick gave me this PC. It's to honor him. And I don't have to watch porn. I just fucking close all my browsers. And just feast. That's a sick setup, though. I don't know. I mean, like, I figured it'd be fun. Nick, $350,000 inheritance column. Say what you will, man. Dude's done well. Look, a lot of people who have the flexibility to pursue an otherwise ill-advised kind of career path have a little bit of padding. You know what I mean? A lot of people have a little bit of padding there. They've been helped. They've been supported. They've been, lifted on high. Even if it's just rich parents. He was born on 3rd? Who cares? I don't know, man. People get real, like, vindictive about it, but it's like, he's a pretty good, normal dude. I don't think Nick is like a bad there's one thing if he was just like this fucking vile narcissist who like needed to self-insert and everything, but Nick does his 4 hours of streaming and hangs out with, other people on stream, closes out, plays Apex with his friends. He's like not very cloudy. Dude's like not a shark. He just hangs out with people he likes to play games with, I don't know. Like Nick's like one of the most normal dudes I know, frankly. Dude plays hockey every Sunday. It's like, there's nothing about the guy that's, like, shitty, He got a good role, don't get me wrong, but, I don't think he's doing anything heinous with it. But wait, he said he was rich to a convention volunteer. Yeah, we haven't let that go, huh? But you said you only talk to streamers? What about that? Or are you saying, well, I mean, I've lived a lot of life. Not like a 20-year-old streamer, man. I'm fucking 28. I knew people. I knew life before this. This is very new to me. This whole being here and not doing anything with my day. But Wake, he said he was yeah. Wake is a newborn. I am. I'm a baby, man. It's a struggle in this bitch. It's a struggle. Yo, what up, Ducket? But yeah, we're gonna just start trying new things. I think that's what we're going to do. I got a big plan for, like... So I'm doing some big stuff in next March. I've got a big plan. So I think for now, we're just going to kind of... So mark my words, all right? Next March, so March 2024, so in about 6 months, our entire life is going to change, okay? And it's going to be great, and we're going to change the whole fabric of our fucking being, and it's going to be good. But until then, we're just going to kind of fuck around and do things. You know what I mean? Try new stuff, do whatever. Why? Because that's when the Trump trial is? Yeah, I'm taking the fall. I'm falling on a sword. So, yeah, no, well, yeah, I'll be gay then. Did you get bitten by a spider? No, I don't know. I just woke up with this. I don't really know what it was. I just, like, woke up with a little bite, I guess. I feel like it was a pimple that I popped or something. I'm not sure. It's super weird. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm gonna die. Who knows? If I go to video, I wonder, did I have like I feel like I had a little bump there for a while. It's a bug bite. Yeah, it definitely could be. Flesh-eating virus? Yeah, maybe we're on the way out, man. Who knows? Maybe this is the beginning of the end. Bizarre. My father's first wife is calling me. Very randomly. Esteban inject you with OTK juice? What? If he injected me with OTK juice, I'd be doing a sponsor right now, okay? Let's not jump the gun on that. How's the brain-eating amoeba coming into the body? I mean, dude, my brain has been rotted for some time now. Yeah, okay. You consider that Look at this shit. It's not really. Yeah, I've had like something like this for a minute here. It just like became a bruise, which is weird. Like I had like a thing there. It's not a bruise? No, it bruised around it. I'm aware that there's like a hole to it. It was like a pimple that I was popping. I don't think it's an ingrown hair because it'd be weird. Let's see. Did I have it like a week or so ago? Let's see. Oh, man. Yeah, see, I've had like a little knob there for a while. Hold on. You see this thing? Like I had like a little like thing. It's bizarre. Flesh-eating bacteria. Yeah. You know what, man? It could be the beginning of the end. It could. It's definitely not ringworm. Bro, that's staph. That is not a staph infection, dog. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, fuck it. Is it true that the world is rigged and pay to win? I mean, yeah. What do you mean? Do you need any more proof? I feel like it's everywhere. I feel like that's like the one enduring fact of life at this point, is that that is 100% the case. All right, let's see. Do I have it back in... Yeah, man. I mean, I've had a little dot there for a while, so I don't know what the fuck it is. It's definitely weird. How much protein do I eat a day? Probably like 200, 250 grams, something like that. About a gram per pound of body weight, a little more. Maybe 1.2 grams per pound, something around there. I mean, even if I go back to streams on, like, let's see, August 16th, do I have it there? Let's see. No, yeah, I don't know where the fuck it came from. It's super weird. I wish I did. But I guess we'll just play the mystery game of what the fuck happened to me. No clue. Maybe I'm going to die. Maybe I have some kind of, bacterial infection and I'm going to decay. Who knows? Hey, Wake, I'm an arm doctor, and I have to tell you, you need to amputate your right arm immediately or else your hog will fall off. It's very urgent. I'm okay with that. Holy shit, how do you get 100 grams? Well, like 200 to 250. I mean, like, whey protein isolate, meat, things like that, there are quite a few things. I eat, beef, steak, or I eat beef, chicken. Whey protein isolate is probably the cheapest, dollar amount per gram of protein you can get. If you can tolerate it well, go for it. I have Greek yogurt. I mean, I've got a proteinish thing in everything I eat. It's fine. It's all right. I mean, yeah, it doesn't hurt. It was really weird. Like, I was in the shower, and I was like, when the fuck did I get this bruise? So, I don't know. It started off just like a bruise, so who knows? Man, it would suck if I had, like, a big illness. You know what I mean? Wouldn't that be brutal? What's your favorite regular diet sody pop? I like Diet Ginger Ale, dude. I think Diet Ginger Ale's the shit. Like Diet Canada Dry Ginger Ale absolutely fucks. I think you shouldn't stand to lose an arm. You're going to a surplus of legs, though. Yeah, we'll deal with the legs. You know what? Here's the thing, guys. I think generally speaking, all 4 limbs are pretty important for general function. You don't want to lose a limb. They're all good. We want as much of that. You fight bears in your sleep? No, I just have weird dreams about ogre. I just have nightmares about the fucking ogre debacle. Non-stop. All right, let's see. What do we have here? Let's check out LSF real quick. What does Quinn69 think of this?
D4.
Wait, did he finish the game?
Is better than Starfield.
I feel like they're just such entirely different games.
And D4 is bad.
I don't know, man. I think Starfield is fine. I've actually had fun with it, especially on my own, just like playing off stream. I think it's pretty fun. You know what I mean? It's just not a particularly great stream game, and I find the actual narrative itself to be lackluster, but I have enjoyed running around, and I just play a little space pirate off stream. That's it. I already fucking drank. Chill the fuck out. I'm gonna fucking... You guys are gonna lose all of your point redemptions here. You guys are fucking monsters. I think the problem is that it's a Bethesda game and people forget how bad those Bethesda games are because the modders carry them so fucking hard. I don't know what to tell you, man. It's like if you're looking for an epic experience that makes you feel significant, they suck at that. In fact, dare I say, Bethesda might be one of the most fucking overrated RPG game developers on that level alone. They do nothing to create a sense of scale and importance. It is like every fucking dialogue is just like this. You never get a cool cutscene. It's, oh, wow, thank you for saving me. I'm very grateful for that. What can I do to repay you? You know what I mean? Like, you just get this fucking, hello. It's like the voice acting's never all that compelling. The animation rigging on faces always seems pretty lackluster. It's like you have to have an enormous sense of like kind of like pedestrian fantasy to it, because it has to be like, okay, I'm in this world and I'm just doing kind of normal shit with gradually heightening importance. But that's why, to me, the thing that Bethesda does really well are like smaller scale adventures, you know? Like I loved like the Adventurers Guild stories. I loved, Thieves Guild and Skyrim. Those were great. I think Bethesda games are fun, but definitely overrated. Way more polished after Microsoft buying them out. I don't know, man. I just think that generally speaking, the actual narrative elements of these games are never that interesting, especially with, Bethesda. Like, the narratives can be well constructed, but the experience of them feels incredibly hollow and, like, I don't know, man. I think there's something to be said for really solid cutscene animations and this experience of, like, significance through those cinematics that they don't really give you. Every time I finish a mission, it feels very hollow. First of all, also, one thing I've noticed, 90% of the female NPCs are the same face. Like, the same face. You know what I mean? Whole lot of never downloaded the O6 mod. Dude, I have played... Look, man, I have been a painfully horny and lonely teen and early 20-year-old man. For most of those years, I was just a degenerate, lonely dude. The fuck mods are well trodden. What I'm saying is that people forget how much the modding community carries Bethesda games. You know what I mean? If people thought Microsoft would help anything, they don't know Microsoft. Yeah, I mean, it's an acquisition on a material level. They're probably not changing anything. So I don't know, man. But yeah, New Vegas is great, but it feels as if the narrative is kind of like written and executed from like a different company, right? Wasn't it like Obsidian or something like that? They had no actual. It wasn't really a Bethesda game in the same way. So I don't know. I understand why people would be kind of, let's say. I feel like the explanation as to why it is individuals feel a bit, let's say, like, shorted or vacant. It makes sense to me. Because, frankly, I just think that the game doesn't really deliver an epic narrative experience, especially in comparison to games that have been released around the same time. But what Bethesda does really well is create, like, a breadth of a world and give you a lot of fun mini activities to discover through exploration. And I had a lot of fun doing that, actually. I've just gone around trying to essentially pilot, to pirate ships across the galaxy. I'm just playing a little pirate. I'm not even following storylines. I enjoy that element of the game. But I think if you're looking for a really cool, grounded, or not grounded, but let's say like an epic kind of narrative experience, Bethesda doesn't really deliver that. And I think a lot of it has to do with the ways they fall short with, like, animation rigging and voice acting. Thoughts? Let's see.
I just want to say something to you, Bethesda. Just want to say a little something. There is nothing I love more. Taking my headphones off. Fuck
okay.
That. Bethesda, there is nothing I love more than to...
Oh, God, this is getting real three-heading already.
To sit down, comfy chair... turn on my PC, fire up a brand new RPG, lose myself, think, oh my God, just think of this world, just think of all the planets I can visit, all the immersive things that I can get involved with, all the fights, all the relationships, all the people I meet, all the places I go. I'm so excited to go there. And I love nothing more than, with all of that laid out in front of me, I love nothing more than to be dragged out at every fucking conceivable opportunity so you can fucking current day us.
What the fuck was that sentence? So you can fucking current day us? Wait, so is this guy mad that in a game set in the future in which there's literal alien life, like true, like, extraterrestrial existences that we don't even know if they have gender themselves, like in this world where the whole concept of a gender binary is probably a distant history at that point, right? that he feels as if his immersion is being threatened by the existence of something he doesn't have to play as. Did this guy literally only get to the character creation screen and see that there was the option to select pronouns and, like, just absolutely fucking erupt? Because I have yet to experience... I picked a non-binary character canonically when we started playing, and at no point in my playthrough has that even really... I don't even feel like people are using pronouns for me. I don't even feel like they're actively addressing my character via pronouns. I feel like this guy just like, he erupted in outrage over the possibility of there being, like, I don't get this. Does anyone have an interesting, let's say, like, stance on why this is so incendiary for people? The inclusion of let's say, a pronoun augmentation for individuals who want to customize their character in that direction? Because, again, this exists in the real world, and we are also, in this particular instance, in a literal fictional future world. Yo, Poggy, what up, Vizik? Thank you for the sub, dude. He would be happy with no pronouns, it seems. Is when Hogwarts was popping off, he defended the game. Well, I mean, yeah, he seems to be someone who's, revels in occupying a sort of counterculture, right? I mean, like, there are certain people who just build their entire identity off of being contrarian, and it's incredibly, this is the guy in the lecture hall debating the professor and derailing the class. You know what I mean? Some people hate change that much. It's just funny because, like, trans people have existed for as long as people have existed. We're just giving some sense of dignity and recognition to their being. That's it. Like, it's so funny to me how tone deaf these people are. It's like they don't recognize how blatantly on the wrong side of history they are. Inclusivity and representation is something that, if you ever rallied against it at any point, you will forever be marked in the fucking annals of history as a bigot. Like, you will. No one has won on that side of history, man. You know what I mean? Like, don't get me wrong. I like that this is a thing. It's fine that it's a thing. Just leave it out of my schools. Leave it out of my life. Leave it out of my games. Leave it out of my movies. You know what I mean? We don't want to be hit over the head with it. It's like, just say that you don't want to confront your prejudice. You know what I mean? That's it. We're actually less open to sexuality and gender now. There are a lot of cultures that have been historically. Sure, but I mean, that's not shocking, though. It's like, I don't think that being receptive to human sexuality and the nuances of sexuality are necessarily futuristic in nature. If anything, I think it's kind of a primal thing to not feel the need to tabulate and, like, integrate into this kind of high society dynamic the concept of what you want to put your dick in. You know what I mean? Or whether or not you want your dick at all. This is another thing altogether, you know what I mean? Like, I feel as if these are very base things that only through the integration of shame and religiosity have we really developed phobias around, you know what I mean? People are okay with picking gender but not pronouns. Well, the thing is that picking gender is one thing, right? Picking pronouns now gives life to the possibility that you could experience gender in a way that isn't reflective of your biological sex. You know what I mean? The thing these people don't understand is that they have been programmed for rage whenever they encounter any of these topics by their social media echo chamber. Yeah, 100%. It's all just like literal fucking inundation with the same kind of rage bait media stuff. It's fucking horrid, man. They cannot escape that trained response when they want to. Well, yeah, I mean, it's they're literally performing their role of member of this cultural, sect that they believe is, the last bastion of hope for society. I is a pronoun. Well, here's the thing. I think it's important for one. I mean, it's fun to dunk on people and be like, a pronoun's just this, but we know what they're saying, right? When they say, I don't believe in pronouns, what they're saying is, I don't believe in pronouns that are not representative of exactly what I experience optically. Do you know what I mean? That's the whole point, is that they're resistant to this idea that someone can be something that they were not biologically, and biologically, let's say anatomically, even moreover, right, or chromosomally, because biologically there are still very obvious neurological mechanisms that create the experience of gender on a personality level that we've identified. This dude is def playing it up a bit, but that's just as sad. Well, I mean, yeah, dude, I got into like some fucking Twitter beef with this dude because I made the point that, like, frankly, I don't care how villainous in you know, adrift your fucking like internal experiences. Like, I don't care how negative your sentiment is towards trans people. If all of your words and actions are in support of it, I don't care. And vice versa. You know, if this guy's just hamming it up for a bit, he is rendering harm to trans people. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. When the next human for is revealed, people will be equally at arms. Yeah. I mean, like, the one thing I think is that, you know, as long as it's a matter of self-expression, you getting in between that and you know, its capacity to, you know, be publicly seen and recognized is a shame. I agree with you. A new study calculated 1.6 million people in the U.S. identify as transgender. Such a small amount of people. They should be allowed to live without being harassed. Well, yeah, dude, this isn't even a take. Like, there are human beings who want to just, like, you know, have an apartment and go to their job and walk their dog and, you know, go to a bodega and eat bread, and they want to sit down and fucking play a video game and maybe feel like they get to escape into the same fantasy you escape into with that same sense of self-insertion that I think we all kind of revel in when we play games like this. This sense of, oh, it's me piloting a spaceship through the cosmos, something we all certainly will not get to experience in our lifetime. Why is that a problem? So what is the fear? They fear that you're going to make their kids trans? Well, yeah, I mean, it's the same thing that I think people believed when it came to, you know, homosexuality as well, right? I'm sure that there was a great deal of, you know, pedophilic panic around gay men in particular, you know? And it's kind of funny, too, because trans men are never really the topic of discussion, right? It's always, you know, trans women that tend to be the thing that most vex people, and I don't know. I think maybe there's a level of, like, it's sexually confounding for, you know, men to be turned on by women who weren't born as a woman, like, biologically, you know, which I think is, you know, and they're, you know, rageful, and they have, you know, control of policy and narrative. And so I think that's kind of a significant quotient of it, where, you know, they're like, nope, things are this way because I'm not gay, and I've internalized this kind of homophobic rhetoric to the point to where I could never think about having sex with someone who might have been, you know, born with a penis that I'm attracted to because they are a woman and they present as a woman. And that just doesn't register well. You know what I mean? It is 100% because it is easy for trans men to pass. Yeah, it's certainly easier. And I think that that's a significant thing. But, you know, it's like the same thing, too, where it's like, you know, men were able to, if nothing else, kind of like sexualize, you know, like lesbian engagement and interactions. I don't feel as if, you know, the societal contempt of, you know, homosexual women was, you know, identical to that of, you know, the contempt that there was for men. Not to say that men are this oppressed caste. I just mean that there's clearly something about the deviation of men from this kind of like machismo imperative that is deeply upsetting to other men. I don't know if it's this thought that, oh, there was another way to be and I didn't have that, and so I have to, like, you know, resist the possibility of that being a thing because now I have to reckon with the fact that I've been arbitrarily following rules and guidelines that never mattered my entire life. Who knows? I don't know, man. I find this whole debacle to be really silly. To current day.
Sorry, do you want to get immersed in our world? Yeah, well, guess what? Fucking pronouns!
Yeah. I mean, like, this is literally, like, incoherent fucking mishmash, man. Like, this is just a stew of dumb thoughts. You know what I mean? It's like, you do not have to select. Like, you have pronouns, man. We all do. You know that, right? Pronouns aren't the problem. Your thought is that the thought of someone else in their single-player playthrough being able to select pronouns that are not, let's say, optically associated with the physical presentation of their character to be given the option to play. In 300 years, they're going to be far. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know what the dude thinks is going to happen here. You know? Like, undoubtedly, unquestionably, and universally, this will be something that we continue to have integrated into our society. And so when we look at a dude like this who's, like, mauling over the thought of someone else getting to have the same immersive experience that he yearns for, I don't know, man. There's nothing but hatred. There's nothing but fear. There's nothing of, I think, essentially ignorance, right? Emanating from this, right? It's a dude who is I think, threatened by the possibility of other of a world that he does not feel as if maybe he's at the epicenter of. It is the disillusion of a system. Maybe it's about being brutal to the most vulnerable too. I don't know, man. The disillusion of a system, it's kind of strange because it's really not. It's just like, I think that now there's another thing to consider, and it's indicative of a sort of change that maybe you're not a part of, you know? And I think that maybe on a generational level, people experience a great deal of fear when they see that the culture that they created isn't one that will endure forever, and that there are going to be new tastemakers with new ideas and broader, kind of like opinions and acceptances, and that's scary to people. You know what I mean? That like, oh man, this world isn't built for me. Everything made sense. Why are we changing it now? But I just think that it's a real, consistent bane of the aging is this, kind of like vindictive contempt they tend to develop for the emerging. You know what I mean? And it kind of sucks to see because it's always incorrect. The best thing you can ever be is receptive and encouraging to the ways in which the world is starting to accept new, divergent, and emerging identities. You know what I mean? You probably think having dark skin as a color option is too progressive in the 1800s. Dude, that's not even a new thing. I don't know if you know that that's like always been something that people have been kind of meh about as well, you know? Like, oh yeah, so we could just like think about having like making Annie about a black woman or a black girl. That was a point of outrage, as if that character must necessarily be canonically white when it's far more representative of, I would say the, impoverished and largely in turn, black communities in the United States, you know? People fucking panicked, man. People fear what they don't understand. Yeah, I think that there's just a fear of maybe this is me or maybe I like it, and the fact that this is continuing to proliferate is challenging my identity as a hetero man, because people don't realize that there's like a spectrum of sexuality, and that like you being attracted to a trans woman does not make you gay. It is in fact a very straight thing. You're attracted to a woman. You know what I mean? There has to be a fear of that. You know what I mean?
Fucking gender ambiguity! Fucking current day California!
I think it's a lot of what upset people about gay men, especially with very flamboyant or effeminate gay men, right? Is that what I think a lot of people experienced was like, why does this kind of like tickle me? Like, why do I kind of feel something about this? You know what I mean? Because like, I don't know, they don't realize that like maybe what they're attracted to is the femininity that they're expressing, and it's still very heterosexual of you to be pulled to that on some level. You know what I mean? Like the whole concept of the quote-unquote femboy is very much a heterosexual phenomena. So I don't know, man. It's like when you really break it down, I feel like it's in some ways an assault on his, sense of self, in that now you're opening things up to the concept of spectrums. And when one side of that spectrum has been culturally and historically vilified, you fear falling anywhere other than the hard pole of that spectrum that you exist at, right? Gonna have a hard time. I think most games going forward will have. I don't think he's gonna have a hard time. I think he's gonna probably make sense of it and be on board at some point. I think that just like with gay marriage and homosexuality in general, you're going to have a lot of people who at the, onset of that kind of normalization experience a great deal of contempt, but it is quite literally the only way through. It's what we've done for literally it's what the world has done for every marginalized or castaway demographic that has become, integrated into, I'd say, like, out of the shadows of society and into the epicenter of it, right? Sorry, what is this? Sorry, I was a bit late. I was unable to type, but I wanted to respectfully push back against the idea that trans men face less shit than trans women. We just suffer from invisibility. I agree with that. I completely agree with that, hey, Elliot, 100%. I don't mean to say that the experience is, I mean that a lot of the outrage seems to orbit around the idea of trans women, more so than trans men, and I think it has more to do with the ways in which it challenges a lot of, like, cishet men's sense of identity, both in what it is maybe they feel pulled to and what it is it tells them they also could have been. So it's definitely not to say that the experience is less shitty for trans men. I think that, a great deal of trans men could probably experience, enormous disillusionment and almost like cultural abandonment. It can be super weird. Irreversible damage and ROGD are great examples of the shit trans men face, and the current anti-trans laws in the U.S. are primarily targets of us. Language like girls cutting off their breasts. Yeah, 100%. I agree. Without a doubt. It's almost like the denial/outlast against a stage of grief in a way. Grief for a purview that once gave cozy binary answers in a world in the universe. I don't think that it's really... Because, I don't think of binary answers as cozy, and I don't necessarily think that that's it either. It's what's known, you know what I mean? But I think that everyone will have more fun in a spectrum. You know what I mean? I think that spectrums are, they allow for a far greater expression of self, right? And so I don't think that that's, I think it's okay, I knew this world and now I don't, or this is changing and I don't get why, and I got to roll my eyes, everything seemed okay, and we're going too far, because people who aren't trans have a really hard time understanding something as absurd as the trans identity, which frankly is I'd say it is on paper absurd. This idea that you as a human being are born with a chromosomal sexual identity that your brain is no, the fuck we aren't, and that is your enduring, immutable truth. I mean, that's insane, right? That's crazy. That sucks. But it's also something that we know the answer to. We let people be what they feel themselves to be, what they are, what they experience themselves as is what's significant, and they should be allowed to externalize that, gender and sex being a completely two separate paradigms is something that's really important to acknowledge here. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, I think a lot of people think, well, how could anyone feel that way, It'd be like me trying to imagine two guys having sex when I was young, you know what I mean? It's oh, well, no, I don't want to do that. How could anyone want to do that? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I think that that's fucking crazy. When you're young, you're oh, no one does that. How do you get to that? That doesn't make sense to me. You know what I mean? It's it is a whole way of being that just doesn't make sense to people at the time. And I think that that's totally fucking fine. On some level to give a sort of sensitivity to, in that especially for those of us who can, not those who are targets of it, but to be okay, they can't make sense of something they don't experience. They're afraid of change. They're afraid of something that to them feels as if it's malicious or fictitious. And to really communicate the gravity and reality of these situations, and that these are what people really are, man. This is not some kind of performance. This isn't some dude, becoming an art major because he doesn't know what to do with his life, right? I mean, this is someone who their entire life they've felt this sort of, dysphoria, the sense of I'm not what my body communicates, and I hate it. You know what I mean? So they're not soul searching and finding the wrong answers. This is a very clear and experienced self. So I don't know, man. I think it's sad.
Onion shit! Because that's all we fucking know! Because we're boring! We're so we fucking onion shitty! Fucking current day Californian shit! Because that's all we fucking know! Because we're...
But, did he play the game? I don't know how much developmental resources he thinks went into putting the pronoun menu together. But it was a pretty brief thing. There's a lot more after that.
We're boring! We're so fucking boring!
Bro, they made a whole intergalactic world with aliens and party ships and pirates and you think it's boring that they didn't give you the option of chocolate or vanilla? And they gave you a few other flavor options for choosing how to insert yourself into their universe? You don't even have to pick it. You can keep eating vanilla ice cream, dude. There are just more flavors at Baskin-Robbins, big dog.
We can't see past our own fucking reflection.
Yeah, this is a perfect self-aware wolves clip, man. The fuck do you mean, my guy?
That's the level of our narcissism here at Bethesda Western.
But, like, you think that because you aren't trans that there isn't a very strong demographic of trans gamers who would love to feel like they can be themselves in a game? I mean, like, it's just dumb. It's like, I don't even want to dunk on this dude. He's such a fucking cretin. Like,
Game company.
It like it feel like I'm just like he's like drowning in his own vomit. Like, what can I say about this fucking loser? I don't know. It sucks.
Fuck your immersion. Fuck you having a good time. Fuck you falling into a world and just getting lost. No.
That's the whole point. Look at what you're doing. You're the person who can't. Everyone else, like, dude, the fact that you can accept the, existence of aliens but not trans people is just insane. You know, that the experience of aliens is more immersive than the experience of trans people. It's insane. I don't get it, dude. We're literally grab jumping between fucking galaxies in a second. And like, what is immersion to you? You don't have to do this.
No, current fucking day.
I mean, like, I don't know. I don't know who this dude's audience is, but I'm glad they self-quarantine. You know what I mean?
Fuck off! You're boring! You're fucking dull! You have nothing to say! You are a one-hived mind twat waffle!
I mean, you should definitely play the game. Because they were just like, if you're trans and want to be trans in the game, you could be trans in the game. And he's like, and the whole point of this fucking game is to be this grey, ambiguous, not man, not what. Like, they're just saying, if you're trans, you can be trans in the game. It's okay. We have spaceships that jump galaxies in 3 seconds and alien pirates. And if you want to be trans, that's okay too, because the future has probably moved on. You want to be trans in the game, you could be trans. You can and then play the game that has nothing to do with being trans or trans identity or anything like that. Just saying, if you want to do that, you can.
That's all you fucking are! And you wonder why people are getting so fucking sick.
This dude is absolutely rubbing his dick raw to trans porn. Like, there's just no, like he's having to confront some, like, deep-seated sense of shame. There's just no fucking way anyone cares this much. Like, I really think that it has to come from, like, this confronts your sense of validity and your identity on some level, or you would never feel this threatened by it.
Sick and tired! You take everything we love, all our immersions, all our fantasies.
Like, dude, what the fuck? It's the literal character creation menu, and it's like one button. You press B to augment your pronouns. They don't even have, like, a big, like, like RuPaul's Drag Race, like, and ta-da! What is it, Michael or Michaela? You pick. They don't, none of that's there. It's just a fucking press B if you want to represent yourself in this world. That's it.
All our escapism, and you just can't help. Shovel, you're dog shit.
Basically, this wraps it up. Picked up a copy of Wokemon. Well, no, because this is what he'd like. Like, this is a funny joke and everything, but, like, the thing that's really dumb is that they don't understand that it really is that simple. Like, there is the whole, like, I don't really experience either because that's a weird fucking, archaic system, right? Of being like, you are this or you are that. And it's like, I'm somewhere in between. Like, we kind of all are, even on a hormonal level. Like, we have different degrees of secondary sex characteristics expression. And, like, yeah, I mean, like, really, we do have, like, 2 poles, of, like, different degrees of traditional masculinity and femininity as we define it. It's like, even in a binary system, it's, expressed in a sort of, it expresses itself on a spectrum. And so I mean, like, what they don't get is that in an ideal world, it's like, someone who is born XY can say they were a fucking girl. You know what I mean? Because the experience of gender and your chromosomal sex are very different for this particular demographic, and the outrage surrounding it is just, like, so fucking, it's nonsensical. I don't know.
Fucking crap!
Jesus
Ideology
Christ.
into everything! Every ideology!
Did he say I'm orgy?
Crap! Ideology!
What the fuck is he?
Can't help! Shovel! You are dog shit! Fucking crap! Ideology into
Ideology. Okay.
everything! Every single solitary fucking thing!
Okay. Gonna go delete your browser history? Don't leak that other monitor, big guy. Would hate to see the fucking sick futa porn you're looking at, man. Would hate. So what the fuck is this guy named? Heel versus Babyface?
Man has opinion.
Oh man, wait, there's a whole
video game. Internet goes absolutely new.
I love when they try to completely fucking like inoculate their dog shit bigotry by being like, "Alright, so I can't have an opinion about a video game." Oh, it's like, big dog, like, you had an opinion on trans identity. That's what you communicated, you know what I mean? Like, no one, if you were upset about the inclusion of black characters in a video game, your criticism was hardly about the video game. Or let me be clear, that was a criticism about a video game, but what people take issue with is the ideology it expresses. You know what I mean?
Nuclear crazy about opinion on video game. Is this actually about opinion on video game? No, this has nothing to do with opinion on video game. This is everything to do with going after the far left sacred cow of gender ideology.
Dude, I don't even, like, that's the most fucking Fox News take on leftism. The far left wants workers' rights. The far left wants empowered unions and universal health care and in systems that dismantle the plutocracy of the United States and other reigning, fucking CEO god leaders that we have. Like, I don't get this.
Here from Heel versus Babyface this Friday just gone. We had the early access release for Starfield. After Leon, play is solid enough when you're actually doing something, but that's
he's
half
almost
the
done with the
problem.
game too.
I found the explorative nature of this game exceedingly dull and boring. I found the characters not remotely engaging, and the dialogue has a lot to be desired.
As long as the credits keep rolling in, life's good.
But the fact that they think that gender ideology is like the fucking, crux of leftism is insane. It's like, in the event that there wasn't an active pushback against the expression of gender, especially of trans identity, there would be no need to platform it or care. Like, we'd move on because the world isn't being hostile towards a demographic of people who don't deserve hostility for being who they are.
But having an opinion on the internet...
It's so weird. Yeah, no, I agree with you, D-Clone. I think a lot of them are terrified. It's the same thing with homosexuality and the experience of, femininity or effeminate men. It's this thought of like, well, why does that fucking make my cock jump a little bit that makes so many men outraged? I really do. I think that it threatens the very core nature of their masculinity as they've internalized it, which is being, a heterosexual cocksman.
Heaven forbid anyone have one of...
The game is shit. I mean, like, I have fun with it because I've been fighting spaceships and that's like me past out of that, it's whatever. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's kind of how I experience it, at least.
those. But this video isn't about that. I'm not gonna treat you like you don't know what is actually going on. Towards the beginning of the game, the character creation, we were greeted with a pronoun option. So very current day of Bethesda, because
They say that like it's a slur to like care about emerging populaces and their sense of representation in a game that's meant to be inclusive. Like, you're not excluded. It's not a trans protagonist. It's a you protagonist. And you can represent you through it. That's the gift of it, man. We've had that benefit for so long as white men. You know what I mean? Like, very seldom have I ever felt as if I'm not represented by the protagonist I'm piloting in a game. You know what I mean? And for this dude to feel like so fucking outraged by it. Yo,
It's
thank
so
you for the 8
painful
months,
to the
dude.
human
I
mind
appreciate
as a
that.
great and sudden change. Mary Shelley, Frankenstein.
I appreciate that, man.
because
Thank you
it
so much.
appears at some point during the last couple of years, Pete Hines seems to have forgotten what gender he is. Never.
I mean, it seems like he's just including his pronouns so that, and this is something a lot of people don't get. The inclusion of pronouns for a lot of like cis people who are very obviously optically the gender that they represent on a physical level. The inclusion of pronouns is an act of solidarity and a hope to help normalize the inclusion of pronouns so that those who don't feel as if they are being ostracized, alienated, or targeted for that reason alone. It's to clarify and make possible, or diminish the likelihood of being misgendered, essentially, is the function. You know what I mean? It's to normalize the presentation of pronouns to eliminate that potential discomfort of those who, don't want to be misgendered and correct people.
Some
That's it.
point during the last couple of years, Pete Hines seems to have forgotten what gender he is. Never mind. So I went on.
It's like, how do you get so embittered? Like, that this is becoming, like, the crux of your life. It just sucks, man. Like the right is... Dude, it's just so fucking disheartening to see people be so averse to change that does nothing other than dignify and include the identities of people that have existed for fucking millennia. And it's just fucking weird. If you want to debate, monetary and economic policy and, like, how, because there's more nuance there. There's more to, like, but the whole idea of people are born this way. They want to be seen, represented, and regarded for what it is they are as they experience themselves. It's would I debate him? I'd talk to him. I wouldn't debate anyone. I mean, like,
A little bit of a rant to my streaming audience because I was
this dude's not going to talk to me.
unhappy with the fact that in every aspect of our entertainment today, we seem to be pulled out because the people creating it are more concerned with inserting current day into absolutely everything. Bethesda.
It's funny, too, because the game is literally set in the fucking future, and you act as if what's occurring at current day and the inevitability of change in the direction of acceptance, as we've witnessed throughout the entirety of human history, mind you, isn't going to continue as such. You know what I mean?
There is nothing I love more than to sit down, comfy chair, turn on my PC, fire up a brand new RPG, and it's all that and me.
I can't listen to you again.
Out by her brevity. There were some pauses. Fucking thing! Now I edited that down a little bit because of brevity. There were some pauses that I took out, but this was tweeted out by Hassan Piker after Dan Vask.
What?
By Hassan Piker after Dan Vask. Had put the video out.
The fuck was that? What was the bit there? Why did I... Brother, that flew right over my head. That went into the fucking cosmos. It's a man with long hair. He doesn't look like me.
And it went a tinge viral. And he says, this weird British guy... Oh, yeah, okay, fair enough. Losing his mind over selecting pronouns in Starfield is the perfect demonstration for why we must...
Hassan is great because he'll just always go for fucking blood.
Let's bring back lobotomies. Well,
Right wingers are getting better at comedy, and it's got the left nervous. Wait, what? Hazy, where's that factoring into this? Who cares if he's bald, man? A lot of people are bald. They don't have say over that. He has say over whether or not he's a fucking cunt. And he is a cunt. You know what I mean?
Hassan,
Would you vote for polemism if it was possible? No.
at least they would.
It's fascism. Nick doesn't realize he stumbled upon the age-old, logical fallacy of leaders, which is that I know best. Everyone should do what I think, and I'm going to reward those who do and kill those who don't. That is not a new thing. That's an old meme. I can't
Would
remember
be
the
able to
source.
lobotomize me. You, however, I don't think they would actually find enough brain cells. And if you don't
Got him!
know who this guy is, let me introduce you to him.
So you said America deserved 9/11.
Did he go for the clip he got banned for?
Yeah.
And that other person that he was being interviewed by was his uncle, Chen Huger. Let's see what Chen Huger has to say about certain things, shall we?
If I were the benevolent dictator of the world, I would legalize bestiality where you are giving, where you are pleasuring the animal. You see what I'm saying? Okay. Okay. Now why? Why did that happen?
I don't
Imagine being so dumb. So dumb that you in earnest present clear satire as, like, demonstrable fact.
know, Chank. Maybe it had something to do with the, I don't know, fucking animals part. What the
How dumb is this dude's audience? Are people on board with this fucking loser? This is so tough, man. It's like to expend this much of your life on contempt is insane, you know? Like, this is why I can't do this kind of political shit, but, like, it's brutal.
hell is wrong with your
Like this dude is fucking Brexit personified. What a fucking moron.
family, dude? So needless to say that I'm pretty okay with having a conflicting opinion to somebody like Hassan. But this
Dude is a real Brexit gazer.
isn't just about pro.
Bro, his Twitter has so much hate. People are agreeing with him. It's so sad. Yeah. I wish I could talk with more people who really do stand on the side of this guy. Like, I wish I could tangibly and, like, in person interact with people on this level. Even on just, like, calls. Like, not to dunk on him, but, like, it just feels like this is so easy to actually traverse with people in the event that you're able to talk with them at all, but they're so algorithmically isolated that to ever appeal to or make sense to any of them is, like,
pronouns.
so
That's the
fucking hard.
disingenuous argument that people
Lots of streamers, big streamers, are agreeing with him, too. Like, fucking who? Dr. Disrespect and Nick Merckx? Yeah, man, the fucking dude who outfitted his house in shungite to protect himself from 5G radiation and the outspoken transphobe.
people want to
Big streamers, we are conflating big streamers with, like, people with good insights and opinions.
latch onto.
Like, half these, like, Dr. Disrespect played a character until he became it, you know, and Nick Merckx was good at Warzone or something, or Fortnite, or some battle royale.
So that you don't talk about the gender ideology and the intersectionality that's been rammed into every single solitary
Hey, he knows the words. Good for him.
facet of our entertainment, from video games to TV.
It's not like it's inextricable. I mean, like, the other thing, too, is that there are just, like, trans people out there, man. They just exist. They're out there. And the more you represent them in media, the less hostile people become towards them, because it no longer represents something they don't understand, but something they know and respect and have been intimately, you know, proximal to on some level.
Film, comics, etc., etc.
Listen,
Like, this is the clumsy and oftentimes undignified labor of normalization that's really shitty. Because people do this shit.
I know I should have been more.
Doc picks the absurd hills to die on. Stupid fucking mistakes, man.
Forthcoming about who I was earlier.
Yes.
So, in the interest of full disclosure, there's one more thing you ought to know before we head up there.
You're a dude.
My relationship with the UC. It's more complicated than it might seem at first glance. The UC's
His fucking cock deflated.
actually the Emma clone of a man named Francois Sanon, one-time fleet admiral of the UC during the Colony War, former head of the UC.
Now, did I have that reaction?
I mean, look, man, you can get upset with Bethesda for bad writing all you want. This character's not even trans, just a clone that is female. So it's genetic material that was then essentially cloned to be female, is what you're saying? Like, canonically, it's a female that was cloned after a man, and he's just cherry-picking to bolster his position?
Reaction because I'm a nasty, naughty transformophobia. No.
To be fair, your outrage came at the inclusion of it in the menu.
I had that reaction because it was so...
Let's look up Hadrian real quick. Let's get the canon on her. Hadrian Starfield. Okay. Sorry if this is gonna be. I mean, yeah. Wait. It's a girl. She. She is. She. Her. She. It's a woman. It's a fucking woman. It's a woman. You fucking idiot. The fuck are we on about? The fuck is this shit? Let's see. It's a man clone? I mean, you know, man, like, I don't know. Do people get it, right? Like, within them is an X chromosome, all men. Like, they, in their nuts, you know, just in, like, they are producing X chromosome sperm cells at an industrial rate. They have little women inside of them waiting to go become women. They know that, and it's their genetic material, and it can be a woman. Like, did they get that? That, like, their nads are churning that out at an industrial rate? They can do that? Do they know? The idea is that it's a clone. Gene editing clone isn't really the right term for a relationship thanks to the amount of donor material that was required to bring me into this world. It's like, thanks to the amount of nut. It was a lot of nut, she said. This is so stupid. What a fucking loser. Okay, let's keep going.
One-time fleet admiral of the...
Action because I'm a nasty, naughty... So obvious... Because we're dealing with current day gaming company. In actual fact, you could go far as to say we're dealing with current day entertainment in the West. Then we have the Act Man, a React channel that has 1.8 million subscribers, getting mad because a person reacted to a game. By the way, this person recently being cancelled, having his YouTube so.
This guy is playing, this is just a non-stop red herring showcase of him being like, but this guy said this at one point, so why can we ever listen to their valid criticism of my public bigotry?
Now, he's actually to have hypocrisy of it, dude. The way, urge of crying. We've already had to go into...
This guy just needs to go make some trans friends. They're like out there in your city, I promise you. Just go meet any trans person. I bet you've interacted with a trans person and not known it too, man.
A lie, because you want to embellish your inverted commas argument. Shouty man.
Yeah, no, I mean, you criticized the game, but your criticism was its inclusion of, you know, anything outside of your rigid, gender binary that you're obsessed with. Your criticism was with its politics, or quote-unquote, it shouldn't even be politics, with its inclusion of trans, the ability, not even the inclusion of, but the ability to represent yourself in the world as trans, should you choose to. That's it. It's fucking nuts. That is it.
Yes. Ranty man, yes. Angry man, yes. Crying, I. Pick the pronoun. Skip the
Wait, what was
pronouns that
this?
feel comfortable with. Yes. Crying, no.
I don't cry. I'm not gay. I don't cry. I didn't cry because I'm a man. And men don't cry. Okay?
Just say it how it is. If you feel comfortable with his position, why lie? Because Starfield lets you pick pronouns at the start of the game and then is never brought up again. Well, if it's never brought up again, why do you even have to pick the pronoun?
So you get the opportunity to experience yourself in the world as you experience yourself in your day-to-day life. It is for others to feel as if, how often is your sex, gender, or race as a character in a game brought up ever? Very seldom, because that is how life should be. It should not be orbiting the concept of identity on an identificational, like, definitive level. You know what I mean? That is ideally the future for trans people, is that you get to be trans without that being the fucking center of every conversation you go on to have for the rest of your fucking life. That you select your gender and then move on. I am this, now I would like to go be a space pirate and not have to talk about being trans every time I have a dialogue option with another character. That is ideally what the future looks like for trans people. You know? That they can, the same as anyone, steal from other spaceships.
And you would have a better point of argument here if the game allowed you to skip the pronoun nonsense.
You can, by just picking your pronouns as you... Like, you don't have to... You just, like... You don't get to... You're gay... You are... You have pronouns. It's just letting you select them. And so you select them. You say, no, my pronouns are exactly what my optical gender would suggest. And then you play the game. You can skip it. No one put a gun to your head and made you play a trans character. This guy's like, and so obviously I had to go download mods, get a big futanari cock on my character so I could experience it firsthand. I don't want to be robbed out of...
What are your pronouns? Skip. Because the game understands that when you've picked the male character, you have male pronouns.
Shut the fuck up, man.
And when you pick the female character, you have female pronouns. So if it's never brought up again...
But, like, this is why he's such a fucking dingbat, dude. When you make a character, the pronouns default to the body type you select. I made a male character. My initial pronouns were he, him. It didn't force you to do anything. You just had to press B if you wanted to cycle through them, but they were all there exactly as you built your character with only the option to then augment it. You didn't have to press a single button. They didn't make you select it. It wasn't a new menu that took up the whole screen. It was literally a small caveat above your name. You just had to press B if you wanted to make it something other than what your character presented as. It's so silly.
What is the issue? What is the problem? Why?
I wonder what trans community says about that. Right now, it's a battlefield, left versus right, U.S. politics. Yeah, all right, Crunchy D. Welcome in.
Why is it even...
Why don't we try we should consult the trans community about... It's the first time anyone who plays enlightened centrist in my chat has ever cared about what trans people have to say about anything is the second you think that fucking the left is just commodifying identity. Like, dude, the sole fucking reason this is relevant discourse is because of the outrage and attempts to obscure or outright oppress trans people from the right on a policy level. That is the sole function of this discourse. It wasn't like... God.
It's there
That's
to...
it. I promise you, the trans community is happy to be able to select their pronouns. I would be fucking shocked if they tokenized fucking